but we've got to show our children and grandchildren this is how it's done.
Right now on KGW, tens of thousands of people came out to multiple No Kings rallies across our region. Coming up, why those who came out say nonviolent protests are the best way to stand up for what they believe in. Plus, new body camera video shows the moments that led up to the shooting of a woman who called 911 for help. The former Illinois sheriff's deputy now facing murder charges. Plus, why the trial had to be moved. Then, a story that sounds like it was written in Hollywood. Thieves steal crown jewels from the most visited museum in the world, pulling off the heist in just 7 minutes. And
we're going to need dominant postseason Kirby. It's game 7. It's as good as it gets.
As good as it gets happens tonight. The Mariners play the Blue Jays in game 7 of the American League Championship Series. The winner goes to the World Series. KGW News at noon starts right now. We are continuing to follow a semi-truck crash that blocked traffic at the I-5 and I-405 split heading northbound into Portland. This is a live look at the ODOT camera near Macadam Avenue. Thank you for joining us. I'm China Green. Our Thomas Schultz is live near where that crash happened this morning. So Thomas, what can you tell us?
Well, China, look, sometimes things get worse before they get better, right? And that's exactly what we're seeing right here, right along that split of I-5 and I-405. The cleanup crew is now taking up 3 lanes of traffic here, forcing traffic onto the shoulder of the interstate. Now, look, both I-405 and I-5 are open, and cars and vehicles are able to get to them once they pass this crash, but it's a crash that happened around 7 o'clock this morning, and it's been a big mess ever since. ODOT telling us 2 semi-trucks crashed in the northbound lane of I-5. Liquid actually spilling out across the roadway. It appeared to be diesel exhaust fluid. Now, that's not hazardous nor flammable, fortunately, but as you can see, it is a big mess. Fortunately, there were no reported injuries as part of this crash, although Portland police tell us one of the trucks involved was carrying chickens. We haven't seen those chickens, and ODOT hasn't verified it so far. Again, one northbound lane was open for hours this morning when we were out here, but as you can see back out here live, that is no longer the case. Instead, big trucks, cars, everybody trickling in through Wilsonville up north, going toward the city, is having to move over to the shoulder of the interstate and then either make their decision whether they're going to go back to I-405 or I-5. Still a lot of crews out here, more crews than we saw this morning, so still a cleanup that is very much in progress and going to lead to delays for quite some time. China?
Thomas, thank you. Tens of thousands of people across Oregon and Southwest Washington rallied over the weekend as part of the nationwide No Kings protest. Portlanders flooded the streets in costumes and inflatables, holding signs and playing instruments. The march went on for hours and appeared peaceful.
I'm just horrified at the way they're treating immigrants and people of color and grabbing people off the streets, and I think it's pretty disgusting.
We declared ourselves a sanctuary church when I first got back 30 years ago. We've held ICE out because with our neighbors hurting, we cannot be silent.
Portland police say no arrests were made. And here's a look at some pictures taken near a No Kings protest in Vancouver on Saturday. That's where police arrested a man on suspicion of DUI and reckless driving. So the driver was identified as Jason Miller. He's accused of rear-ending another car. No protesters were hit, but someone was hurt trying to get out of the way of that crash. Meanwhile, there were at least 40 No Kings protests in Seattle this weekend. The rally at the Seattle Center had an estimated crowd of 90,000 people. Local organizers are calling the No Kings movement the largest protest in U.S. history.
If I don't fight, who will?
We're doing it with nothing but love and just showing up.
It's like every day you look in the newspaper, there's like 2 or 3 things, at least big things happening that's showing erosion of our democracy.
State and local officials have taken legal action against the federal government and have redirected funds in response to federal budget cuts. Meanwhile, we are waiting for several different cases to play out in their respective courts over whether or not President Donald Trump can deploy the National Guard to Portland. On Friday, the president appealed to the U.S. Supreme Court, asking justices to allow him to deploy National Guard troops in U.S. cities. While that appeal deals with a case out of Chicago, it could have significant implications on what happens on the ground here in Portland. So stay with KGW for the latest on local immigration enforcement and the pushback on the effort here in the Portland area. We'll bring you updates here on TV at KGW.com, on the KGW mobile app, and our free streaming TV app, KGW Plus. All right, headed over to Rod Hill now for a look at weather.
Really turning out to be a nice Monday. Good afternoon to you. We had a few scattered showers lingering in spots this morning, especially up around Astoria and over parts of Clark and Cowlitz County up in southwest Washington. But all of our cameras are now showing at least some pretty good sun. In fact, this is mainly clear from our Snook Winds Casino Resort camera in Lincoln City. Expecting highs in the 60s today, and it's 59 right now. The contrast to the blue sky and the new 5 to 6 inches of snow that fell over the weekend up at Timberline, 37 degrees above freezing. And there's our state capitol where it's been sunny for the most part today. There was a little bit of fog early this morning, but you are now at 57 degrees on partly cloudy skies over downtown. We are at 57 as well. So simply put, the remainder of today is pretty nice. All of your outdoor plans are a go. We'll be 62 at 4 o'clock, so not a big warm up this afternoon, but certainly comfortable. And 54 and mainly clear at 8 p.m. this evening. Now coming up, this upcoming weekend could be the coldest and wettest fall storm that we have seen so far. We'll have that in your 7-day forecast.
Thank you, Rod. Now at noon, Portland police are searching for the person who shot and killed a man in southeast Portland Saturday night. Officers were called just after 10 to southeast 17th and Herald. They found a man on the sidewalk whom paramedics pronounced dead at the scene. No arrests have been made, but anyone with information is asked to contact Portland police. Thousands of striking Kaiser healthcare workers in Oregon and Southwest Washington went back to work on Sunday, wrapping up a 5-day strike. The group includes union nurses and physical therapists, among others. Contract negotiators and negotiations between the union and Kaiser are scheduled to resume on Wednesday. The union says issues over pay and staffing are still unresolved, while Kaiser says its most recent offer addresses those issues. In Illinois, jury selection begins today in the murder trial of a now former sheriff's deputy charged with killing a woman who called 911 for help. NBC's Maggie Vespa has the latest from Chicago.
It has been more than a year since Sonia Massey died in her own kitchen. Protests and media attention since, prompting a judge to move these proceedings to a different county where now this one-time deputy will stand trial and presumably jurors will watch video of that fatal shooting. And to that end, we're going to show you some of that video, but a warning, some of it is disturbing. Body cameras were rolling as then Sangamon County Sheriff's Deputy Sean Grayson and another officer arrived at Sonia Massey's Springfield, Illinois home back in July of 2024. This after Massey called 911 about a possible prowler. You see her at one point in the video pick up a pot of boiling water and say to Grayson, "I rebuke you in the name of Jesus." It's worth noting Massey's family has since said she suffered from mental health issues. In that moment, Grayson is heard telling her, "You better effing not." Moments later, firing multiple shots. An autopsy report showed one hit Massey in the head. Grayson, who has since been fired, now faces multiple charges, including first-degree murder. He's pleaded not guilty, and his attorney has consistently declined to comment. Jury selection begins today in Peoria County, about an hour north of where this happened. Again, the judge moving these proceedings. This trial expected to last up to 2 weeks, with Grayson facing the possibility of life in prison. Back to you.
And here's a look at some world headlines this afternoon. A brazen heist at the Louvre. Thieves used power tools and electric ladder to break into the famous museum in Paris just minutes after it opened on Sunday. The crew smashed display cases and stole 9 royal jewels before speeding off on motorbikes. The entire job took just 7 minutes. Authorities are now racing to find the jewels before they can be broken up and melted down. An Air China flight had to make emergency landing in Shanghai after a lithium battery caught fire on board the plane less than an hour after takeoff. Crew members quickly put out the flames and no one was hurt. The FAA says that there have been more than 60 battery-related incidents on planes this year. And 2 ground crew members are dead after a cargo plane flying from Dubai to Hong Kong skidded off the runway into the sea while trying to land. The plane hit a vehicle. The 2 crew members were inside during the crash. 4 airline crew members who were on board the plane were rescued. And those are a look at your world headlines.